it will be presented by Shopna Agarwal. So you may start now. We will be issuing just a warning after 10 minutes, and by 12 minutes you have to finish off so that we have little bit of time left for 1 or 2 questions. Please start.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Myself Swapna Agarwal. I am from ISI Kolkata. Today I am here to present the paper Lip Tracking under Varying Expressions Utilizing Domain Knowledge. The other author of this paper is Professor Dipti Prasad Mukherjee. He is my PhD guide. So the presentation flow is something like this. First introduction, followed by technical details, results and conclusion. Very simple. See, the first step of any pattern recognition algorithm is feature extraction. And when the pattern recognition corresponds to facial expression analysis, the feature extraction depends on the localization of, the accurate localization of facial components like eyebrows, lips, eyes, etc. So we need a robust facial component localization and tracking algorithm. In this paper, we restrict ourselves to lip tracking. So what are the difficulties of lip tracking? First, lips are highly deformable. Therefore, the tracking methods that utilize fixed lip templates does not yield good results in these cases. Second, in real images, lips may have shadowed or blurred lip edges. So the tracking methods that utilize or depend on gradient magnitude does not yield good results in these cases. Third, sometimes we wear different shades of lip colors on lips. So the tracking method that depend on local regional profile may not yield good results in these cases. So what's the solution? See, lip shapes are highly deformable, that's true. But still the domain of practically feasible lip shapes is always limited. So we can try to learn the domain of practically feasible lip shapes. And second, we can try to combine the strength of both gradient magnitude based and regional profile based techniques. So our proposed method is based on active contour based framework. In this framework, we initialize the contour roughly near to the object that needs to be tracked, in this case the lip, and we assign an energy to this contour, and the energy is defined in such a way that it attains its minimum value when the contour clings onto the boundary of the lip. The main contribution of our paper is in the definition of this energy. So the lip contour here consists of n number of discrete samples. The active contours are also called snakes, so we call this snake samples. For each of these snake samples, we assume a local markup chain consisting of k positions. So the given snake sample can reside at any of the k positions, but not beyond this. For our implementation, we take the help of polar coordinate system. So the probability of a given snake sample at angle theta j to remain at any position Ri is initially assumed to be equal. As there are k snake samples for a given markup chain, it becomes 1 by k. The transition probability for a given snake sample at angle theta j to transit from position R1 to Ri is given by this equation. The update equation for the probability distribution of a Markov chain is given by this equation that says the probability of a given snake sample at angle theta j to remain at any position R1 is given by the summation of all the transition probabilities from any given sample position to that particular given sample position. The beauty of this algorithm is that we do not need to calculate the entire energy functional for calculating the probability distribution of the Markov chain. We just need to calculate the difference in the energy due to a transition. Now, how we track that depends on the updation process, but what we track depends on the definition of the energy functional that I am going to describe next. In our implementation, the energy functional consists of 5 elements. Of these 5 elements, E tension and E rigidity, these two terms control the smoothness of the contour, and the term E gradient, this tracks the contours towards the high gradient magnitude area, and the term E shape, this controls the contour in such a way that the shape of the contour is consistent with the learned lip shape domain. And the term EG profile controls the contour in such a way that the area covered by the contour remains consistent with the learned regional gradable profile domain. So we assume that we have a set of predefined lip shapes. So to learn the practically feasible lip shape domain, we take a principal component analysis of the set of practically feasible lip shape domain. The practically feasible lip shapes, and whenever a new shape comes, we project that into the learned PCA domain and try to find out its distance from the learned shape domain. For example, suppose our shape data is 2-dimensional, so the black dots over here show the distribution of the lip shapes, and the 2 red arrows here show the corresponding eigenvector direction. And these 2 blue dots show 2 incoming shapes, and if we take a simple Euclidean distance, then these 2 blue dots are equidistant from the origin. But if we normalize its direction with respect to its corresponding eigenvalue, then this blue position is closer to the learned lip shape domain. And this is what we exactly do in our implementation. So E shape is defined as the difference between the 2 distances. Now for the EG profile, this is what we do. Given a lip sample, we draw a straight line between its 2 adjacent lip samples. Then we draw perpendicular at the given lip sample position, and we take some pixel values, that means the gradable values of some equidistant pixel positions on this perpendicular. So this makes the local gradable profile. So in this example, the local gradable profile consists of 3 positions, let us say 3 pixel values, and it is centered at position 1 starting from the innermost position. And in this example, the local gradable profile is centered at position 1 to 3. So in the similar fashion as defining E shape, we define EG profile. And I am not going into the detail of these 3 energy elements, E tension, rigidity and gradient, because these are well-known energy elements for active lip contour framework. Now the results. This video shows the result after applying our method on some videos displaying some facial expressions, 6 basic facial expressions. These videos are taken from well-known concomitant facial expression database. Now we compare our method with 2 existing well-known tracking algorithms. The second column shows the result of applying the method proposed by Acton. He has used a snake for tracking, and his snake depends on local gradient magnitude. And the third column shows the result after applying the method proposed by Matthews et al. They use the local gradable profile for tracking lip. And for your information, the red contour here shows the initial contour position, and the cyan contour shows the result after applying the corresponding method, and the blue lines show the result after applying the corresponding method when the shape information has been incorporated. See, when in the first case the gradient magnitude is quite high, the method by Acton yields good result. But in the second case, when again the gradient magnitude is quite high, the method by Acton does not yield good result. because there is a huge motion of lower lip between two consecutive frames in this case. And the method by Acton again does not yield good result when the lip is blurred. But the method by Mathis et al. Yields good result when the lip edges are blurred. But again, it does not yield that much good result when the lip has some color on it. But see, our method, that is given by the last two columns, yields good result in all the cases. Now for quantitative analysis, we take the help of two types of error measurements, error S and error A, where error A sums up the distance between the track snake sample position and the nearest ground truth position. And error A sums up the differences between the area covered by the track sample positions and the area covered by the corresponding ground truth position. So these are the numerical results. See, for surprise, our method yields a slightly greater error S as compared to the method by Mathis et al. And for happiness and surprise, our method yields a slightly greater error A as compared to its competitors. But for all the other expressions, our method yields better error as compared to the competing methods. So these are the conclusions. As our method does not use a fixed template, so it approximates the lip shape in a better way. And again, our method results in better lip tracking when the lip edges are blurred or when the lips are colored. So it can be thought of as a good alternative to the existing lip tracking algorithms. And this method can also be modified to track other facial components like iris. In that case, the lip E-shape component of our energy functional has to be modified accordingly. So these are two references, the two papers we have used for the comparison purpose. That's all from me at this moment. And if you have any suggestion or any question, please tell me. Thank you. Yep.
Any questions from the audience?
So detection is not done, right?
Sorry?
Detection of the lips region is not done. It is only the tracking, right?
Detection in the first frame and then tracking in the subsequent frames of a given
So
video.
it's both detection and tracking.
Right.
So the
But not the detection in the whole image. Like we have to initialize the contour in the first frame,
So
somewhere near the
region is known to you. Initial region is known to you.
Yeah.
Okay, that's one. And what kind of applications?
Yeah, the application is first in facial expression analysis, as I said earlier. Like in facial expression analysis, we have to know the exact positions of facial components like lips, eyes, this thing. So for knowing those positions, this algorithm can be used. And wherever the position can be used, this algorithm can be used. Like visual speech recognition, this type of things. Any other question?
Actually, simply tracking will not help you because unless you characterize the uncertainty in the lip movement. So what are you doing? You are simply tracking the lips, no?
I could not get your question properly.
You are tracking the lips
Yeah.
from one image to another image.
Yeah, from in a video sequence.
In a video
From one
sequence.
image to another image.
But now how the changes are taking place, how to take effect of them in a uncertainty domain, that you are not talking about. Because unless you take account of the uncertainty involved in the lip movement or the different things, then you cannot do anything.
Can anyone please rephrase his question? I'm not getting what
No, actually there is an uncertainty in the lip movement from one frame to the another.
How the lip is moving, yeah.
Unless there is uncertainty, you know.
Yeah, right.
And
Yes,
that is not taken care of.
see, we are taking care of that thing. Okay, I'm going to the slide. See, that's true that we do not know in which direction the lip will move, right? But I said that there is a limited pattern of movement of lips, right? That's true, right?
That pattern is there in the form of you are already taken the shape.
So we are incorporating this element of E shape. This track keeps track of that shape. Like I said that we are learning the practically feasible leaf shape domain by doing a principal component analysis of the set of predefined leaf shapes. So that tells us within which domain or within which limit of the domain of leaf shapes the leaf can move. So this component is taking care of that. Am I clear?
Okay, let us do.
Okay.
Thank you so much for this servant presentation.
Thank you.
And we will now move over to the next presentation, that is fast